Hey there, welcome back to the deep dive. You know how it is, everyone's always going on about the future of work,
Right.
buzzing with predictions and anxieties and advice.
Yeah.
And you sent over some reports and articles all about the job market in 2030. Sounds like someone's doing their homework.
It's smart to be thinking ahead.
Definitely. So you ready to do a deep dive?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we've got this stack of research here. And let's start with the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report.
Okay. Good place to start.
One of the things that jumped out at me right away was this prediction that almost half, like 42%, of current work activities could be automated by as early as 2027.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So does that mean, like, robots are taking over and we're all out of jobs?
Well, not quite. It's a little more complicated than that. These reports, they're about spotting trends, not, predicting the end of the world.
Right.
What's really interesting here is that, they're projecting something like 83 million jobs lost, but also, get this, 97 million new W jobs emerging.
Wow. Okay, so less about mass unemployment and more like a huge job market shuffle.
Exactly.
But 97 million new jobs, that's almost impossible to even imagine.
Yeah, it's a big number.
It is.
And I know some people listening are probably a little uneasy hearing that, but this kind of shift isn't new, right? Look back at the Industrial Revolution. Huge changes. But it also brought entirely new industries and opportunities. And we're seeing a similar pattern now with AI, automation, all of that.
So instead of thinking, oh no, a robot's going to take my job,
Yeah.
the question is more like, okay, what new opportunities are coming that I can, get ready for?
That's the right attitude to have.
Okay, so what are some of these future-proof jobs? Like, give me the inside scoop. I need to update my resume.
Well, not surprisingly, anything in data science and AI is, at the top of the list.
Yeah, figures.
We're talking data scientists, AI and machine learning specialists, even things like AI ethicists. These fields are already growing incredibly fast, and that demand for skilled professionals, that's only going to get more intense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Data is everywhere these days, and being able to actually understand it is like a superpower. But what about those of us who aren't, coding whizzes? Is there a place for us in this techie future?
Absolutely. In fact, the report really emphasizes that alongside those technical skills, what they call human-centered skills are going to be even more important going forward.
Human-centered skills, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds almost a little too warm and fuzzy for this tech-driven future we're talking about.
Yeah.
What exactly are we talking about here?
It's all about the skills that are, uniquely human, the things that are really hard to program into a machine.
Okay, so like what? Give me some examples.
Think, critical thinking, obviously, creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence, communication, leadership.
Oh, right.
These are the things that set us apart, right? And as technology keeps taking over the more routine tasks, those human skills, those become even more important.
So it's not just about being good with data. It's about understanding what it all means, right?
Right.
And then being able to explain it to other people, use it to solve those really complex problems.
Exactly. Think about leading a team where everyone's remote. Suddenly those communication skills, that empathy, it's vital. Or designing some new product in a market that's changing all the time. You need creativity. You got to be adaptable. You need to understand what people actually need. And that's not something algorithms can just, figure out on their own.
It makes total sense. So it's like these human skills, they're becoming the thing that gives you an edge in this automated world.
Exactly. They're the new competitive advantage. And that's really where this whole idea of lifelong learning comes in, right?
Yeah.
It's not about getting that degree and then you're done. It's about always expanding your skill set, keeping up with the new technologies, really taking charge of your own career.
So you've mentioned lifelong learning a few times now. What does that actually look like in real life? Because let's be real, going back to school full time, that's not an option for most people.
And it doesn't have to be, right? It's more of a mindset, a mindset of always growing. Think about one skill, just one, that you wish you had, for your dream job in this new world we're talking about. This week, find an online course, maybe a workshop, or even just a book, or hey, a podcast. And just start. Take that first step.
Right.
It's those little things, those micro learning moments, they add up.
Yeah, I like that. It's about taking control, not being afraid to try something new, and really just seeing every experience as a chance to learn and grow from, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of learning and growth, the report also mentioned a company, GFoundry, that's doing some really interesting things in this space. Can you tell us a bit more about them?
Yeah, GFoundry is fascinating. They've built this whole platform, and it's designed specifically to help companies and individuals, navigate this changing world of work that we're talking about.
Okay.
They're all about talent management, talent development, which is huge right now with this whole skills gap we're facing.
So instead of freaking out about finding the right people, GFoundry helps companies upskill their existing employees. That seems really valuable, especially now with these skills being in such high demand.
Exactly. And it's not just about offering some courses. They're trying to make learning more engaging, more effective. Things like gamification, personalized learning paths. Remember those in-demand skills we were talking about? Well, GFoundry actually helps you build those skills, and they make it fun.
Okay, so they're making learning fun. All right, I'm all ears. What else do they got?
It's like they thought of everything. They even have these tools for measuring employee happiness,
Yeah.
and promoting feedback. Because if you're feeling good, feeling valued at work, you're going to be more open to those new challenges.
Yeah.
You're going to thrive.
Totally. A happy employee is definitely someone who's ready to learn new things and grow, especially with more and more companies doing the remote thing or hybrid models. Having those tools to keep people connected, to keep them productive, that's huge.
Yeah, for sure. And let's not forget about automation, but not in the way you might think,
Okay.
GFoundry is all about using automation to actually make people's jobs better, not to replace them altogether.
Right.
So instead of dreading those same old tasks, imagine if you had a system that just took care of them for you, frees you up to do the more strategic stuff, be more creative.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like an Iron Man when he's just telling the suit what to do and it's doing all the hard work. Except instead of battling supervillains, we're conquering our inboxes and spreadsheets.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, right? Not harder. And that's what GFoundry gives you the tools to do. Their platform can even identify skills within an organization but people might not even know they have.
Oh.
Helps with succession planning, all of that. It's like having a crystal ball for your workforce.
That's wild. So we've covered a lot in this deep dive. I mean, we talked about those crazy automation numbers, the rise of these human-centered skills, and GFoundry's really unique approach to the future of work. As our listeners are, finishing up their commutes, heading back into the office, what's the one thing you want them to really take away from this conversation?
I think the most important message is don't be afraid of the future of work. It's a chance to really decide what work means to you. What are you passionate about? What skills really light you up? Those are the things you should be focusing on now.
I love that. It's about writing your own story, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to adapt and never stop learning. If you can do that, you're not just going to survive in this always changing job market. You're going to do great.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe you'll end up designing that dream job of 2030 that we talked about, where you're using those incredible human skills, but also, the power of technology to really make a difference.
Well, that's a future worth getting excited about.
Yeah.
And on that note, a huge thank you to you, our amazing listener, for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another look at the big ideas shaping our world.